Evangeline Rose Millimen burst onto the scene, and she made me a parent for the first time. And not only did I become a parent, but I became a parent to a child with disabilities. Now, there are a lot of stereotypes, right, that we give people with disabilities. Paul Longmore, Stella Young, Carolyn Russo, these are all people who live with disabilities who can talk about that. Because I am not a person with a disability, and I feel like I need to stick with what I know. So what I know is my experience parenting a child with disability. Now, just as there are stereotypes given to people with disabilities, there are also stereotypes that are given to parents of children with disabilities. Let's just start with something that annoys me. Special people are only given to special people. Guys, I've worked with adults and children with intellectual disabilities for 16 years, and I don't want to break your perfect bubble, but special people are oftentimes given to assholes. And if we're being perfectly honest, sometimes special people are assholes because people with disabilities are humans with a full range of characteristics and personality traits. You don't have to like everyone with a disability. I give you permission. And while I'm up here, I want to talk about the word special and stereotypes. And I just want to throw a word out to you, and that word is ableism. I didn't make a slide because I thought about it after I submitted my slides. And ableism is a structural issue that we have today, and we assign stereotypes to people with disabilities, and not just people with disabilities, stereotypes to people with bodies that are different than us, that characteristics make us uncomfortable. I'm not gonna go into a huge thing because that's a whole nother talk, and they only gave me 20 minutes. But please look it up and find out more about it, because there's nothing special about my daughter's need for a quality education, access to transportation, and access to medical care, all right? So I have a super, super smart friend who just finished her doctorate in rhetoric and words, and writing, I apologize. And she introduced me to this quote: "Words create worlds." I heard this quote and I immediately became really, really obsessed with it. We live in an age where people want to dismiss words. We hear it a lot. They're just talking. That doesn't mean anything. It's just empty words. But I believe that words have meaning and they have power. I don't think it's any accident that in one of the world's main religions, the creation story starts out with the spoken word. Let there be light. Words create worlds. They have the power to bring about change, to move people. As I thought about this quote, I began thinking about the different ways that I had heard people talk about parenting children with disabilities. There was a really popular blog that goes around called The Mother I Could Have Been. And in this blog, a mother laments about how when she was gonna be a parent, she had the dream of being the cool mom. She was gonna go to story time, she was gonna go to music time, she was gonna go on play dates and brunch and sip mimosas. But that didn't happen because she had a child with disabilities. And instead of being this mom, she was the mom that did therapy appointments, and she was the mom that did doctor's appointments, and she was the mom that always had to worry about her disabled kid. In all fairness, in the last sentence, she does say, "I'm the mother I'm supposed to be." But what have I heard all along? What have those words conveyed to me? They've told me, I read that and I thought, God, having a kid with disabilities kills your dreams. I went to a popular disability studies seminar, and there was a woman there speaking on parenting a child with disabilities. And naturally I went, and I don't remember anything she said other than this quote, that she never had the privilege to parent a typical child. And all I got from that was that parenting a child with a disability is not a privilege. When I was holding my 2-week-old baby and so in love, she was the cutest little baby in the world, still is. The doctor looked at me and said, "You and your husband need to have genetic testing so we can make sure this never happens again." What does that tell me about my baby? Words create worlds. This is what my friend Lisa calls the power of an introduction. We have the ability as parents to shine light where there is no light, and to create the world that our children will go into. We have the ability, with the way we speak of our experiences, to either promote interests or to present them as burdens. Very early on, my husband Cliff and I made the decision to be very, very public about our journey with Evangeline. And we don't hide stuff. We show it all. We're very honest about the nitty-gritty, the hard times, the good times, the mediocre times. And life's basically that. We gave her own hashtag, Evangeline, my love, if you want to see her cute face. And we wrote her a song. I started a blog. We really wanted to show the world disability and what parenting children with disabilities looked like. So I want to tell you right now, I have never felt an emotion parenting a child with disability that I haven't felt parenting a child. And I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for me, and it's really hard to talk about, but guys, I have a 2-year-old, and she's so hard, and I just can't even. Parenting is so freaking hard, okay? And that just is parenting in general. And if any of you are like, parenting is the easiest thing ever, please come talk to me afterwards and tell me your ways. I like to tell people that disability can be scary, but it's not to be feared. There are scary moments in our lives. It was a scary moment when I had to take Evangeline in to have her heart checked to see if she had holes in her heart. It was a scary moment when I stood at her hospital bed while a team of doctors came in to make sure that she didn't die right then. And I was clueless because I was just like, oh, this is interesting. I should take a picture to document this experience. It's scary. Parenting is scary. The amount of times I've gone in to check and make sure Evangeline is breathing, I've probably done the same amount of times for my other children, right? Because we're parents, we have children, we want to make sure they're okay. The biggest thing I want to push out here is I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not. Emotions are so important. I'm a big fan of Dr. Susan David, and she does a lot of work on emotional agility, and she says that emotions are data and not directions. You need to be able to feel your emotions, and sometimes those emotions are negative. If you're me, maybe 75% of the time, sometimes those emotions are negative. But have a support system. I think Sam mentioned it earlier. This is a community. Find a community where you can talk and you can tell people what's going on and how you're feeling. I can't tell you, when I meet parents of children with disabilities who their kids are older, I want to suck their knowledge dry. And I want to find out. And I want to go to them and say, I'm so frustrated with this. I don't know how to handle this. Feel your emotions. Find your support system. But remember, we as parents have the power, and this goes for all children, right? We have the power to instill in them worth and value. And it doesn't matter if they're disabled or typical. My parents were very good at instilling worth and value, and that's why you're stuck with me here today. Because why wouldn't you want to hear what I say, right? We have the power. Words create worlds. Guys, we live in a society where entire nations have the goal of eradicating disability. Words create worlds. We live in a society where people aren't valued because we don't think we can take value from them. Words create worlds. And we live in a society where a doctor can look at a new mom and tell her her baby doesn't matter and that it won't happen again. Our words create worlds. What kind of worlds will you create today? Thank you.